I want the whole thing. I want to hear
Yeah,
all the how you
let's do it.
explaining it. This is the one. This video is gonna go viral. It's gonna be that good.
Cool.
Hi everybody, Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency. Let's talk about selling now. All right.
Yeah,
So we got all these appointments. We got AI working. We got all the drips and the texts and all the things working. You got to have, you know, is it NLP or NPQ, NEPQ? You got to have some, or you got your cape, right? The DP sales ninja cape. What are you saying now when you have, because they're all appointments, right? So you
yeah,
can dial, hey, ring ring, calling you back, but now you're calling an appointments. Let's just go down that path because that's what you do consistently daily. Got an
sure.
appointment. They've gotten some texts of the system. They've gotten a verified producer website from you that verifies your information. They've got some warming up. Talk about that, and then let's talk about how you're calling them. What are the words? What's the Dylan Priest 30, 60, 90-second script to take control on the phone?
Yeah, so I foreshadow everything. Like that's a huge saver. I don't get objections because I foreshadow. And if I get objections, I just go right back to the foreshadow. And it sounds kind of like this. So my first 15 seconds of my appointment, or even if I'm calling out about cold calling, it doesn't change. It's just a slight intro change, right? So it's like, hey Grady, just give me a call. My name's Dylan Priest. Give me a call for a scheduled IUL appointment here to talk about, cash value growth, retirement accounts. We've now still a pretty good time. And they'll say, yep. I go, cool. So just so you have an understanding of what we're going to do today, it's going to be super quick, 10, 12 minutes. I'll make sure you have a basic understanding of what this is. And I'm going to ask you some questions and take some notes on that to help me understand how we should structure this for you and if it even makes sense for your situation. Then towards the end of the call, if we have some time, we can go over some examples of some real world numbers of how this would look like in your situation by sharing my screen to your phone. How does that sound for you? And then they go, cool. And I dive right into it and just explain what an IUL is. It's literally just an educational piece. So I make them sell themselves. So,
Okay.
do you
So
wanna go through the whole thing or, like, what do you.
I want the whole thing. I want to hear
Yeah,
all the how you
let's do it.
explaining it. This is the one. This video is gonna go viral. It's gonna be that good,
Cool. So
especially with
let's
all
role
the.
play then. So, awesome. So, let's dive right in then, Grady. So, this is an investment grade life insurance policy. So, we wanna make sure that there's nothing that's, gonna keep you from qualifying for one. I'm gonna have some health and financial questions towards the end, but what got you interested in IUL to begin with?
I don't think I'm saving enough for
Okay.
retirement, and I don't want to work forever. So the Facebook looked interesting, and I just want to learn more about it.
Okay, cool. Now, tell me a little bit about how you know how an IUL works, and I'll fill in the blanks from there.
I don't really know anything
No?
about it. I just have seen it on TikTok and Facebook, and I feel like it could be better than a 401k because I just don't. I can't put. I'm kind of limited to what I can put into a 401k.
Sure. No worries. A lot of my clients feel the same way. So, what I'll do, if you don't mind, I'll just fill in the blanks from here and go top to bottom. Is that okay?
Please.
Cool. So, first and foremost, like I said, this is called an investment grade life insurance policy, not just an investment. I point this out because if it was just an investment, the IRS could tax it. You'd have the ability to lose money in the stock market. And obviously, losing money is not fun, right?
No.
Nope. So with an IUL, if you get approved and you pay that first payment and you sadly, God forbid, pass away the next day, your beneficiary is going to get a substantial death benefit. So it protects your family if you die, but also has living benefits if you qualify. So that means it protects you while you're still alive. If you get hurt, sick, disabled, heart attack, stroke, and more, you can actually tap into that death benefit money while you're living. Now, the rest of the money that you deposit is going to go into a savings account. It's called a cash value accumulation account, and it's going to earn interest and compound an average annual rate, typically around 8 to 12%. Now, it does work like this. So, since it's a type of life insurance, you make a payment every single month, just like you would your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your cell phone. But the way it works is a portion of this payment goes into the cost of insurance. That's what's going to give you that death benefit, those living benefits, and ultimately make it a life insurance policy. But because of that, is what keeps Uncle Sam's hands out of it when you want to take money out. Does that make sense so far?
It does.
Cool. Now, Grady, do you know what a 401k is?
Yeah.
Cool. Have you ever put money into one like a 401k or an IRA?
Yeah, I got a match through Nancy at HR right now. She helped me set it up.
That's awesome. Hey, keep doing that. You can't turn down free money. You definitely don't want to do that. So, as you know, then your 401k is in some sort of like stock market mutual fund portfolio. And when the stock market goes up, you make money. But when it goes down, you lose money, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. So, Grady, with an IUL, it's not exactly that way. So, you do participate if the stock market goes up and you get a really good interest rate. But if it goes down, you actually have a guarantee that you're not going to lose any money. So, for instance, between the years 2019 and 2021, right, the market did very, very well. And a lot of the IUL policies across all the different carriers we work with, you have earned 8, 10, 12% or more during those years. But in 2022, it tanked. COVID hit, right? So my own personal IRA went down about 20%. So say you had 100,000 in the account, well now you'd have 80. But if you had an IUL that year, you might have earned zero, maybe 1%, right? You wouldn't have made a lot of money, but you wouldn't have lost anything, unlike everybody else. I mean, you still have 100K.
Wow.
Now, real quick, Ray, let's do a quick scenario. Just want you to imagine that you have 100,000 in a 401k and you have 100,000 in an IUL, and the market drops 10%. How much would you have in your 401k?
90,000.
Yep. Now, how much would you have in your IUL?
100,000.
Yep. Now, let's say the very next year the market goes up 10%, the same amount went down. How much do you have in your 401k now?
99,000.
Yep. And in your IUL?
110,000.
Exactly. Does that make sense so far?
It does. Yeah.
Cool. Exactly. That's the whole purpose of not losing money. The
Okay.
market did the same thing in both scenarios, right? As in the 401k and the IUL. The difference is you gained 11,000 from not losing any money. On top of that, do you know who Warren Buffett is by chance?
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. Do
Or
you know his, there you go. Do you know his first two rules of investing?
I don't.
Rule number one, never lose money. And rule number two, always refer back to rule number one. Because hey, you don't lose money, you can't lose, right?
That's very good.
Yeah. So that's kind of how the money and interest is applied. The money is going to grow tax deferred, and when you want to take it out, it's tax free as well. Have you ever taken money out of 401k or ever know anyone that has?
I think my sister did to buy a car, and she got hit a penalty. I think I'm not. I don't remember. She didn't. She wasn't too happy about it, but she got a new car.
Yeah. So she paid the penalties and taxes in pre crude to there, huh?
Yeah.
The nice thing is though, this is actually a huge benefit to an IUL. So your IUL can actually protect your 401k. So here's what I mean. Let's say next time you have some financial emergency or something like that, instead of getting penalized and taxed to death when you go take money out of your 401k, don't do that. Leave it there so it keeps growing, compounding. But instead, tap into your IUL and save your 401k for retirement. Now, in addition to that, Grady, do you remember 2008? Just how tough that was?
I was I was younger, and I don't remember
Younger?
2008.
No worries. So I'll give you a little backstory. The market tanked almost 50%. It's pretty
Oh,
crazy.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The housing market crash, yeah. I had a friend of mine, they had grandparents, they went to retire, they had $1,000,000 in the bank, and all of a sudden, they had 600 grand, and they had to try and live off that money, and eventually they ran out, and so, Grady, if that does happen to you, we're already talking today, so you'll be able to lean on your IUL. So let's say that does happen, God forbid. You'll stop taking money out of your 401k that year. Instead, you actually take money out of your IUL. So now you have time for the market to rebound, and that way you can take your money out of the 401k again when the market's good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Now, do you mind if I just rattle off some financial and health questions to see if you may even qualify for a product like this and take some notes on it?
Health questions. My
Yeah.
health question.
Well, the health questions are more so to make sure that you can qualify because these are a type of life insurance policy, not just an investment. So they
Okay.
don't actually like pull credit, but they are going to verify how healthy you are through the MIB report. That's the Medical Information Bureau. Quite simply, just making sure there's nothing crazy like cancer or anything like that.
Okay.
Cool. So, like I said, I'll ask you some quick financial history questions, and we'll take the money that you have excess of to set aside. That way, it's going to maximize and grow as much as possible. Okay. So, I just want you to think of your budget on a monthly basis. And on your very worst months, when the tires are falling off the car, nothing seems to be going right, you got to give Johnny a birthday present, right? That you weren't expecting. What would be the absolute minimum amount you can see yourself setting aside and growing for your retirement?
200.
200. Okay. Now, let's think about the on the flip side of that, right? Now, let's say everything's going right. And if you really push yourself, knowing the more you put in, the more you're going to get out of this, what would be the absolute most per month that you can say set aside and grow?
Probably 500 to 1,000.
Okay. So let's talk about that real quick. So we can't predict the future, right? So how many months, say last year, if you took it out on the percentage over 12 months, how many were 200 and how much was the 500?
Usually Christmas would be a 200 month because little Johnny needs a bunch of new toys. But probably a third would be 200, and then a third would be 500, and a third would be, a fourth would be, a third would be 1,000.
No worries. So very good. So there's just so you know, there's two types of money that people put into these kind of accounts, right? Sometimes it's a lump sum. This could be from an old, investment account, IRA, 401k. Maybe you get a bonus at the end of the year, or you keep, tax returns, and of course the monthly contributions, like we just talked about. So a lot of my clients, they can see, I foresee maybe a different financial situation over the next year or two, where you might have some extra cash flow, like maybe you're paying off a credit card, a car, a debt. Do you see anything like that coming up in, say, October or so, or in the next 1 to 2 years that might change your financial situation?
No, no, we're pretty consistent. I'm just kind of, it's all new, so I really just want to maybe start with something simple. Can we add it to it in the future,
Yeah.
or get another one? I just don't know a ton about these just yet.
Yeah, there's no worries. Like I said, you can actually go through this and we'll be able to like customize this for you too. This is more just to make sure it's going to make sense for you and really make sure that we're, structuring this correctly for you as well. You can always increase, decrease, and make adjustments as needed.
Okay.
But for right now, let's do this. We're going to move into your health questions really quick to see which one makes the most sense for you. What's your date of birth?
12/19/83.
Okay. Are you currently a smoker?
Nope.
Cool. Rough height and weight?
5'11" to 10.
Okay. Do you currently take medications for anything?
Nothing.
Cool. A couple yes no questions just because in case, but any heart attack, stroke, congestive heart failure,
No, sir.
pacemaker, giant stents,
No, sir.
okay. High blood pressure, diabetes, neuropathy.
Oh, no.
Cool. And my favorite ones because like how would you be able to tell but any dementia or Alzheimer's?
I don't think so.
Exactly. Now, in the last 10 years, anything in your driving record like DUI or maybe like lots of speeding tickets?
No.
Okay. Anything that would show up criminally in the last 10 years?
Nope.
Excellent. Now, Grady, I know we went through this pretty quick, and I have about 10 minutes before my next appointment. So, what I'll do is I'll share my screen to your phone now. I'm going to send you a quick link through Crankwheel. Once you click that, we'll go ahead and go through the illustration together. And then that's basically my quick 10-12 minute presentation there of how that works. And then I pivot to them through like NLG or Ethos, and I'll share my screen. I'll go through like how everything works real quick, and then I'll foreshadow the next step before I go to the application. And that sounds a bit like this. I go, cool. So great. Just so you know how the next steps work and how the approval process works, they're not going to pull credit, they're not going to pull blood or anything like that. But they are going to verify how healthy you are through that MIB report, and that's the Medical Information Bureau. And they do that by cross referencing your prescription history with your social security number. They will ask for your driver's license number because they want to make sure there's nothing criminal on your like record, no crazy DUIs in the last 5 to 7 years. And most importantly, they will ask for your routing and account number. They do this for a couple different reasons. One, they want to verify you are on the account, and God forbid something happens to you, they know where to pay out the living benefits to. But they want to make sure there's no financial fraud in the account either. So no like money laundering, no red flags or anything like that. But they don't charge anything today to see if you qualify, and you get to pick the day and time that you want to start if you get qualified. So with that being said, do you want to like see if you can even qualify possibly for this and kind of go from there? And then that usually by the time I'm going through with all that and the numbers, they're fine doing an application. It's the presentation that and showing the numbers that really solidifies it because seeing is believing in my eyes. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
great. Yeah, I love you're like health questions, then the crank wheel, 10 minutes till my next appointment. So urgency, and this isn't going to keep going. Then do they ever? But then you go show me an illustration, and then they forget you said that. Let's just, and then you just like, okay, 45 minutes later, okay, you've been approved. But
yeah,
the goal is to
keep the
in
conversation going
sales.
forward.
The salesman's job is to help people make decisions to improve their lives. So we have to say things at times. None of it is mischievous or lying, but I'm creating urgency, but also, okay, only 10 more minutes, but then I get to see the numbers. Oh, these look great. Okay. And then you're creating this interest inside the client where they get a little butterfly feeling of, oh, I actually, can we try to get this? Because this looks, it's going to grow to this number. And if I save now 500, then it'll create tax free retirement income. And you get to have a lot of fun with this, but you're trying to ask questions and make statements to help people make decisions to improve their lives. That's what
I
we
can
do.
and as I'm going through that, so like I'm writing notes, right? So they circle back. So like the 401k questions, I don't address it right there, no matter what they say. I take note of it, and then once I already got them on the IUL, or not got them, but like showing the benefits of the IUL, then I'll show them the benefits of an like annuity and how that can actually correlate with your IUL and actually work together with it. And so that's how I get a lot of my annuity clients. But you threw a little plot twist. You said 200, 500, and 1,000, right? So in that situation, what I would do with my client is we would start low. I'd start them at 200 on the illustration side, and then I would sell them 1,000. But because yours was like quarterly, so every quarter is a little bit different of amount, I would have structured this to where it'd probably be like the $300 range, but they had the max range of like they can put 12 or 1,300 a month into it without having mech level. So that's why you want to keep notes of everything that you're talking with the client, so you can circle back and have that as a resource.
Another good question to address how what I did there is you could go, now Grady, what is just your ballpark monthly or annual income? And if I go 6,000 a month, or you go, okay, so let's be in the 2 to 3 to 400, just knowing, because think about percentages of income, right? 10% of my monthly income would be $600, right? Regardless of how good of a saver or spender, if I got kids and a wife and a house, I'm near that $600. So he doesn't want to. He's not going to pitch 1,000, regardless of if I'm who's the guy on TV? What the heck with all the books? I see. I don't. Regardless if I'm the best saver, not Dale Carnegie. What's the guy on TV? Dave Ramsey. Regardless if I'm Dave Ramsey, as disciplined as they get, carving out $1,000 out of my monthly income. Now, if I go, I make $12,000 a month. My wife makes 4,000. We got 16,000 a month of cash flow. Now he goes, okay, this guy has income. We just need to adjust and allocate, pitch a better benefit on why he should, instead of, trying to flip sports cards on eBay or collecting coins or his vending machine business he's got going with his buddy from college. Like, what else? So where's all your money going? What cars are you driving? Like, he then can push a little bit more, get some more info and go, oh, he's got a couple grand of cash flow. He's just allocating in different places. I need to sell this harder and show bigger benefits, because a guy like myself in that situation, I'm making 16,000 a month. I now am heavily thinking about keeping that level of lifestyle going forever, right? If I'm making 16,000 a month, I don't want to stop making 16,000 a month and go back to four. We're not going to live off my wife's income, right? So that's kind of where you do. I jumped in and
Oh, you're
stole your,
good.
but that's
No,
an angle of find out what they make. What are your expenses? Where do they live? Check their zip code. What's your house? Google it. Google, put it on Zillow. Is it a $1.1 million house that he's over leveraged? Is it $258,000 house he bought 12 years ago, and he's got 100? He's got 180,000 of equity in it, right? That's some information that you can then use to your benefit to be able to kind of move that client forward on what's best for them. Asking
yep,
questions to help them make decisions to improve their lives. Back
yep,
to you.
and I also sometimes double, triple book me on time slots. So regardless of like if I have an appointment coming up or not, because they're about 15-minute appointments. If they're on the phone, like I'm not going to jump into my next appointment and let them off because they're on the phone. Why would I want to jump to an appointment that may or may not show when I have someone on the phone there? So, good advice is like if you have multiple appointments stacked like that, just take your time with the person that you're talking to now, all the way from start to finish, and then you can call it back the other person or reschedule. Like it's not a big deal. I think we get too caught up in our heads sometimes.
I love that you spend enough on leads and have a system where you're double booking or triple booking time slots. That's
Yeah,
someone who's betting on himself and who's
yeah.
betting on his skill set and trusts himself to make it happen. You know,
I don't gamble. I don't like much, but I don't like going to the like slot machines and spending money that way. I like to me like my gambling is like you said, it's on myself because I'm in control of myself. It's not some crazy metrics. It's just knowing your skill set. If you get enough people on the phone, you're going to make it happen. And I know if I get people on the phone, I have an 80 or higher percent close ratio. As long as I get them on the phone, I talk to them, I will close most of them. It's very rare. If it does happen, it's because we're pushing it back a day or two because they need to give me like 401k documents.
got it.
So yeah.
At your $400 to $600 a day lead spend, what are you ballpark getting a month in total leads or week in total leads? Do you know?
So we just ramped that up not too long ago. So when we were doing about 250 a day in ad spend, we were going like 450 to 550 a month in leads. where
Yep.
average cost was between 18 to $22 a lead. Then
Okay.
Facebook made their changes, and then so we saw our lead cost go from that to 50 to $150 a lead and
Oh,
$200 a lead while I'm in Japan. So I had no idea this was going on. And so I was like, weird, why is it getting like going down? So you see like my metrics because I track everything. So you saw it go from 500 to like 300 leads a month to like 250. And I'm like, oh, we have an issue. And I didn't catch it quick enough. So now to fix it, and I did the reverse math. If it was like $40 a lead and I'm spending 600 bucks a day, I'm should hopefully be close to that 500 a month lead flow, which will get me back up to the 100 to 160K a month range, and then also have enough to pour into agents. So
I love it, dude. I mean, it's just coming in. And I mean, this is a big thing too, guys, is Dylan understands like lead real estate, right? Not everybody's ready to buy today. Some people are lookers, some people want more information. Now, we used to talk about on a 25%, 25, 50, 25. 25% are ready to buy. 50% need to be followed up with and sold, and 25% are never going to buy. They already died and they hate their family. They just like annoying people and filling out forms. So just understand that. If that's the facts, then get to the 25% that are ready to buy as fast as possible using CRMs and tech and calls and AI, and then follow up on the 50% and just keep going. But that's the part that you've got that 50% in the middle that you're dripping on. I bet you've got appointments that book today that you got as a lead 2, 3, 6, 8 months ago, but it's finally time. And that's that you don't get as a new agent when you buy $18.50 bronze mailer leads, call through them one time and go, this business doesn't work because you're not committing enough. You're not investing enough in the business. This is a business, right? Costs like what, a couple $1,000,000 to buy McDonald's. You got, there's all these adages on franchises and businesses and starting businesses. Try buying a house and turn it into rental property. Look at $500,000 of money you got to put out there at a 6-8% interest rate to hope that you won't cash flow on because interest rates are too high. Like whatever you're looking at as far as a business and making income, there is no there's nothing, no thing, there's nothing out there that equates to the potential ROI of you, grit, skill set, and time that insurance provides. So, Dylan, you
yeah,
emulate that. I always like to close with kind of one final thing. What are you doing to solidify the sale? Meaning that, like, clients calling, leads, shocker, they fill out more than one form, right?
yeah,
it's not your lead vendor's fault. It's not the guy you bought the leads from's fault. They're shopping, right? And they're looking for someone to trust. Do they fill out a few forms? A few people are going to call them. How are you closing them down? And then what is your follow up campaign to keep your persistency so high?
yeah. So as soon as I close them out, I tell them like, hey, I want you to write down and put these in your numbers here, your phone. So I give them my cell phone number and I give them my direct office number. And then I immediately at that point in time send them a text through the system that gives them all their policy information, all my information, gives them an email. And it's literally dripping on them for 30 days, specifically to make sure they got their policy in the mail. So I'm on top of them every single time. And then I follow back through and go, cool. So, hey, I want you to send a text to my office number real quick. So that way I can make sure you got the text messages and you get all communication. If anyone else reaches out to you and they are not from One Up Financial or Dylan Priest, me exact from me specifically, then is not your policy, has nothing to do with me. Always call me to confirm that any changes, or even if you want to cancel, that's fine. Just call me first so I make sure everything's done correctly. And I'm like, can I get a thumbs up or okay on that? And they're like, all right, cool. And then from that point in time, it goes to their system and I move on to the next one. And then just kind of go from there. So you really want to just solidify them. Oh, if you don't have a virtual business card, get a virtual business card. I use Hi Hello. It's beautiful. It sends them a text link. It says hi hello.dylan.priest. It has all my social medias on there, my contact information, my office number. And with the drips, it helps because your clients will get new phones. Your clients will forget about you. But I've had clients where they call me back and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Dylan, I forgot. I lost your number 6 months ago. I'm so happy you texted me. Like, let's go ahead and get this started." And it's beautiful when you see that because you're like, "Wow, this is a great feeling." But
Love it,
yeah, you
dude.
just gotta stay on top of it. So
All right, final thoughts, advice to everyone out there that wants to sell 100 plus a month like you,
yeah,
or just to
becoming
break free like you. What's some advice to new agents out there that are on the fence and need to be kicked over?
don't be afraid to jump off the boat, right? Like if you're holding on to like a W-2 job, I get it, but that's also a crutch. You can start low, slow, and you can make a sell real quickly, but you have to become an expert in what you do to get to this production. whether that's mortgage protection, IULs. You can't put your hat in all those rings. And once I said, "Hey, I'm going to focus on IULs," that's when I started getting traction because now I'm just focusing on one type of lead source and then expanding out. And one of the biggest things I could probably say is don't trust in one lead source, because if that lead source goes downhill, which it will, you will have to start all over again. I learned that the hard way over the last 6 months. So now I have 3 or 4 lead sources, so that way I don't have to worry about that. Hopefully, and just learn everything you can about your business, the back end, the marketing, how the works, how ads work. Know just enough to be dangerous and to not get like screwed over. So that way, when you get sick of like buying leads from vendors and you want to hire someone internally, then you know just enough to be dangerous. But if they know more than you, then you know you're making a good hiring choice because they can do more than teach you more than that, what you know. And one last final thought is no one's going to come save you. All right. Like not even God. And I mean that in a loving way because like God and your mentors will provide you the path and the tools and everything you need to be successful in your own like individual way. But it's up to you as an individual to work hard and put that effort in to go where you want to go. No one else can do that for you.
Amen, bro. Well, Dylan, this is a long time coming, and you delivered, bro. It was awesome, and thank you for the detail and the passion and the stories and the realness and the truth. That's it, guys. You know, Dylan is a product of our incredible system, but with also massive desire for change to live a better life and provide a better life for his family, and he's doing that. And now he's excelling. So I'm so excited to see the team you're about to build and all the new great things you come up with, and you considering to continue to crush the leaderboard. So drop a DP or drop a 100, drop something, drop some heart, drop some love in the chat below for Dylan asking for his Amazon link for his cape, or but we'll keep that going. So, bro, thank you.
Man,
Appreciate you. Continue to crush. I'm so excited to see what you do now here and in the future, bro.